All right, everybody ready? Can I get everybody to stand for the pledge of allegiance? Fred, you understand over here? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Take your seats. Welcome back to Comlink. It's been a long time. I think it's been about 18 months that we have been in person meeting. So we're going to do some bigger and better things. This is a very important issue that's coming before the city in late August. At the city council meeting, there will be a public hearing on the 4 companies that are bidding for the waste management contract for the city center. So I just want to say a couple of things before we start. Nabil Saba is going to make the city's presentation. And before I introduce him, I just want to remind you, sadness, that Miguel Polito, our former mayor's dad, passed away. He was 95, and last couple of weeks, I don't know exact date. And I talked to the city manager at the city council meeting on Tuesday. We're getting together to build a veterans memorial and a memorial for the 875 Santa Ana residents that died of COVID. So I don't know where it's going to be and how the design is going to be made. We're just in the beginning stages. And I just want to thank the generous donors for the food in the back. I don't know who they are, but they welcome the food. We're all hungry. And the schools start up in a couple of weeks. So if you have kids in school, make sure you contact the school to see what their mask requirements are, what their vaccine requirements are, because this is changing day to day. And it possibly will be vaccines for children under the age of 12 in the next couple of weeks. So with that, I'm going to introduce Nabil, and he's going to come up here and make his presentation so he can introduce himself.
Good evening. Nabil Saba, Director of Public Works, City of Santa Ana. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for coming. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for allowing us to be here. And it's great to see everyone in person. I'm excited about that. Tonight, I would like to provide you with a presentation or an update on our efforts for the solid waste contract. We used this particular presentation for the City Council work study session back in, I believe, June 20th or so. So it may be a repeat to some of you, but I think there's a lot of good information here, and I welcome questions at the end. And again, we get started.
Is it on?
Oh, okay. We'll touch on the timeline. On June 22nd, the work study was held, and that was done. On June 23, from June 23 to August 16, we are holding meetings like this one here, and we're also coordinating with city council members for any questions, concerns about the contract. So we're reaching out to not only the community, but the electeds for any questions, concerns about these issues here. On July 20, which is done, we held a public hearing and adopted a resolution of intent to grant a solid waste franchise to one of the 4 proposals that we received 4 proposals from. On our plan is for August 17 is to hold a public hearing and adopt a resolution to grant a solid waste franchise agreement to one of the 4 proposals, and we will be asking City Council to authorize staff to proceed with Proposition 218 process. Now, Proposition 218 process is basically a notification process, 45-day notification of a public hearing, a second public hearing to allow us to adopt the new rates. So that the rates that will be adopted, that will be dependent on hauler that the city council will be awarding the contract to. We're hoping that July 1, 2022 will be the start of the new contract. Our agenda for tonight, let's see. Okay. I'll have a presentation, simple, and then we have questions and answers. Just a quick disclaimer that the information provided here in this presentation is really a high-level summary of the contracts. It is not meant to be a legal representation of the actual documents. As you know, the actual agreement with the haulers, and we will have 4 of them ready for signature at the City Council on August 17th. They are 300 pages each, so my 50-slide presentation will not do justice to that. But anyway, it is a long document, right? So just to get our acronyms correct, a card is what I saw here. That's considered a card. Cards come in many sizes, or 3 sizes in this case. 35 gallons, 64 gallons, 96 gallons, and that's what's common in the industry. We also use bins. The bins range from 1 to 6 cubic yards in volume or size, and then we also have and use roll-up boxes, and those vary again in sizes from 10 yards to 40 yards. So some of the RFP request for proposal key services for residential customers that Santa Ana asked for is three-part automated residential collection service, which includes the refuse, the recycling, and the organic. That service is what you see right now. You're being served with the 3, and automated is because humans are not involved in the picking up of these carts. So, we also asked for a senior and a mobile home load generator discount, which was provided. We also requested that the provider provide a walkout service for the disabled residents at no charge. We also requested for the residential customers, again, a holiday tea collection. We also asked for on-call bulky item collection, up to 4 pickups per year, up to 4 items each pickup. So those for residential, keep that in mind because multifamily is a little bit different. So if you own a house, you will be able to call 4 times a year and have 4 mattresses every time for the hauler to pick up at no charge. That's 4 times 4, 16 mattresses. So I don't know. Yeah. Go ahead.
Can I have a question?
Sure, go ahead.
My name is Irma Garcia, and I live in Second and Shelton. And we have this problem, during the year, I called the city to help us with the big dumpsters.
Yes.
And so the people know that I am about to order those things, They throw mattresses and, all kind of furniture in front of my house, and that's a big problem. Right now, there's like 4 big items. Like right now, there's a big mattress and a small one, and it used to be like a refrigerator, but somebody picked them up. But there's drawers, and they keep doing that, and that's the reason why it's so many trouble. People, they don't want to be, helping because they say, I don't want to do it because they put stuff in front of my place.
Yeah.
And that's why they keep doing it in front of my,
Is it like next to a dumpster or just in the street?
in the street and the
Okay.
sidewalk. It's,
Let me ask you, do you live close to an apartment complex?
yes.
Okay, so I can explain that, and is that it's a legal dumping, that's what we call it.
Yes.
And the reason for that is right now, the program that the city has is people that live in apartments right now
Mhm.
cannot pick up the phone and call for service. The manager of the apartment complex
Yes.
or the owner of the apartment complex is the only one that is authorized to call the waste company to pick up bulky items, right?
Yes.
So for a charge, right now there is a fee for that,
Mhm.
right? So imagine this, someone is moving out
Mhm.
and have a mattress to throw away.
Yeah.
Imagine. Now, it's gonna cost him money to throw away the mattress, right?
Mhm.
Not only that, he needs to go to the apartment complex manager for them to call the waste hauler to arrange for the payment and the pickup, correct?
Yes.
So that is a process that is not working in Santa Ana.
Yeah.
This contract will eliminate that.
Mhm.
Anyone that lives in Santa Ana, whether you be in a residential house,
Yeah.
own house,
Yeah.
or in an apartment, you'll be able to call the waste hauler and say, I have a pickup here.
Yeah.
And I have a mattress that I need to get rid of, and make an appointment for them to come and pick it up for free.
Okay. Yeah, I already called, but the stuff is still there, and I don't know who
For,
dumped it there.
for now, what you need to do is, if you have the Santa Ana app on your phone, just use illegal dumping on the phone itself, use the app, and I use it on a daily basis.
Mhm.
And within less than 24 hours, almost within the day, it will be picked up.
What happens if I don't have that on the inside? The smartphone.
Oh, if you don't have a smartphone,
Yes.
call
Ah,
dispatch and public works.
yes.
And I'll give you the phone number.
Okay.
And I know Michelle has a whole bunch of phone numbers on that yellow
Okay.
sheet that you can use.
Thank you
And
so much.
call us and we react immediately.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Go ahead, ma'am.
I'm glad it's gonna do a lot of good in Santa Ana. It's gonna be free.
Oh, she doesn't want it. Thank you. so much.
And it's a good thing, you know, they won't be charged.
Yes,
Because this is going on in all of Santa Ana,
yes.
not just in her area.
And that's something that we've been, working on. And like I mentioned, there's 4 potential waste haulers. All of them agree to it, and they will be providing that service.
Thank you.
You're welcome. On-call universal waste collection, we asked for a program for that. We also asked for a residential used oil and oil filter collection program, and a temporary refuse bin service, and Sharp's mail bag collection program. That's what Santa Ana asked of all the haulers in the request for proposal.
George, did you have a question?
Yes, I got a written question by Carl Vargas, I believe it was, asking about composting material or food scraps. Is there something special in this or that we handle for that other than the green container? What's your recommendation?
On composting, I know all haulers, waste haulers, will be providing compost to the city. There's a composting event for the city, and residents in Santa Ana will be offered the compost for them to use for free. For the multi-family, commercial, and industrial users, we've asked for a bin collection service, card collection service for those businesses with no room for a bin, source separated, recyclable, and organic collection service, temporary bin service, permanent and temporary roll-off service, on-call bulky item collection for multi-family, and that's what we talked about. Okay? And there's we kept this option as an option to the waste haulers to propose to us what type of program they're offering Santa Ana. So we kept it open, and we got really good offers. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. And we also asked for a multi-family bin customer holiday tree collection, which I don't think we had before. So for apartment, people that lived up in apartments, they had no way of recycling their Christmas tree. After this contract, they will be. The RFP key services for government operations, that's us, City of Santa Ana. We asked for the city facility refuse, recycling and organics and e-waste collection service, construction and demolition debris collection service from city government operations, refuse, recycling and organic collection service for city events. We also asked for parkway cleanup following quarterly garage sales. And also we asked for a weekly alley cleanup. We were specific there and asking for 2 employees and a front loader for 60 hours each, 6 days each week to remove debris left in alleyways. So right now we do have that service, but it's twice a month. We are increasing the level of service by requesting the hauler to provide it to us on a weekly basis. Hopefully, we have issues with alleys, dumping in the alleys, and we have a lot of alleys in the city, so we're trying to be on top of that situation. We also asked that the provider would help us with grant administration and a program for battery recycling from city facilities. For the community, we asked for 300 roll-off boxes per year for neighborhood cleanups. So if you belong to a neighborhood association, the neighborhood association leader can connect with a waste hauler, ask for a bin to have an event for the community to come in and dump the quality items or whatever else they want. So that's an event that is sponsored by the city, 300 roll-off boxes every year. We also asked for an annual household hazardous waste drop-off event, annual shredding event, annual compost giveaway event, and that's what the question was about. Is, we will have compost provided to the residents, those that are interested. We also requested an environmental ambassador program and 1 full-time recycling coordinator, and we also asked for the Santa Ana Green quarterly newsletter partial funding. It's the newsletter that you see coming to you on a quarterly basis, and the waste hauler will be able to help us keep that coming to you. The contract terms includes, it is a 10-year contract plus 5 years, option to extend, and also up to 30 after the 15 years, then there is an option to extend to 36 months at the sole discretion of the city. It does require or sets a minimum recycling requirement or a diversion rate, they call it. Also, the contract includes administrative vehicle impact, MPDS, and franchise fee. It does include an audit every so often, every 3 years audit. All carts shall be new at the start of the service in accordance to Senate Bill 1383. All route collection vehicles shall be model year of 2021 or later. So, and we also, and the contract will include an education and outreach program, and also there is a faithful performance bond and a letter of credit that is in the contract. So let's talk about a little rates, a little bit about the rates. The rates, there's different rates. The main ones are the residential, multifamily, and commercial rates, and also, yeah. So we'll start with those. The residential rates are adjustable. We start with 1 year, the first year rate, and then every year those rates will be adjusting, and they will be adjusting in accordance to 3 factors. The first one is the consumer price index. If the consumer price index increases, then the rates will increase. And if it's 2%, then the rates will increase by 2% and so forth. In addition to that, there is a fuel component to the rate that will be adjusted based on the producer price index, that's another index. And then the last component of the residential rate is the disposal component, which is linked to the Orange County landfill system. If the Orange County landfill system adjusts the rates, then those pricing for residential, multifamily, and commercial services will adjust according to those three factors. Same thing with the roll-up box service component. It's linked to the consumer price index, the fuel index, and also the tonnage charge. So that tonnage charge is also linked to the consumer price index again. There's other services that the wastewater will be also providing, and those will be also adjusted based on the average annual percentage charge in the consumer price index for all urban customers in all items less food and energy. That text really comes from the consumer price index, and it's got a code to it. So all these other services will be adjusted accordingly. Any questions so far? Is this going enough for you? Good?
We're talking about the fuel adjustment.
Yes.
Some of these vehicles,
I don't know how electric is gonna come into play, but I'm assuming as we get more and more electrified, some of these trash hauling trucks will be electrified, and so would that go away? Would that, I don't know, would you proceed?
It's an awesome question, because it is a 10-year contract, and you just never know. We may end up with more and more of the electric vehicles. I'll look into it for you. Now down to the rates, proposed rates, and as you see on this, as you see on the screen, the four proposals, we got Athens services, the residential rate on July 1, 2022 will be $17.55, which includes, and I have it, the service level is listed below, and that's what the standard service level for residential customer, typical residential customer. So we have a one refuse card once per week, one recycling card once per week, one organics card once per week, and again, Athens $17.55, Republic $22.94, Waste Management $22.95, CR&R $23.71, and the data is ranked from low to high. Current rate for fiscal year 21-22 is $22.57. So those are the rates that will be in effect on, again, July 1, 2022 for residential customers. And that's the card. This is the same service that you received today, basically. The three. Go ahead.
Single family and duplexes.
Okay, yeah, because a lot of our residents also live in multi-family residential.
Right, they're serviced by bid service.
Great, I just wanted to make that
Sure.
clarification, so that not everybody is gonna be getting a card.
No.
Thank you.
Sure. So we did the math for you on what it would be over a 5-year period, but we had to make some assumptions on, if you remember, the consumer price index and the fuel index and the disposal at the landfill. So we made some assumptions. This table shows an assumed increase of 2.5% for the CPI, consumer price index, and also adds what we call Clean City Initiative increases. We'll talk about those in a minute. So we assume that it's 2.5%, and then every hauler were asked to provide additional services to the city. And because those are addition to the contract, there was a certain percentage increases to providing these services, and each hauler gave us a percentage increase that they would like to see for the next years to recover the cost for these additional services. I'll talk about this. That's the table. As you can see, I can look at year 5 for simplicity. Athens would be $20.35, CR&R 27.23, Republic 26.70, Waste Management 26.89, and they are ranked alphabetically. Those are the increases that I was mentioning. In year 1, there is no increase. The increase becomes effective at the end of year 1 or year 2. So for Athens, the first year increase would be 4.14. CR&R is 2.05%. For Republic is 1%, and for Waste Management is 2%. And those increases are for the Clean City initiatives. And then again, Athens had another increase in year 3, so did CR&R, Republic, and Waste Management. And then in year 4, the only increase was from Republic. But that's the schedule. We incorporated those increases with the table previous to that. So those increases, that math is included in with those increases. So, and again, the data is linked alphabetically by the follows.
Quick question. When you did your assumptions on cost increases, on your cost analysis increase, or that we're getting back into the comparison, was there any cost analysis for the carbon footprint for the decaying material that we'll have to pick up? Was any of that brought in or thought about?
No, these estimates are based on, and they are rates to the customer.
From that though, if there is a air support tax that goes on, is this going to be solid without that, or you know if that would be in addition to this?
What do you mean that additional to this?
Well, the Paris Accord is supposed to tax carbon footprint from waste products. So the Paris Accord.
Oh, the Paris Accord. Oh. No, these increases, these assumptions are not going to be applicable. When we add the increases, the percentages, this is what you have. So these increases or percentages that you see are combined. They assume 2.5% CPI and the Clean City Initiative increases. So, okay. For the commercial car service, these are the proposed rates. Athens, $85, Waste Management, $115.93, CR&R, $158.99, Republic Services, $250. The equivalent service right now in Santa Ana is $133.20, and the service level for that is 1 refuse cart once per week, 1 organic cart once per week, and 1 recycling cart once per week. And that's for commercial, if they use carts. The 3 cubic yard temporary bin, the rates for that is from Athens, $95, CR&R, $101.42, Waste Management is $131.23, Republic Services is $151.76. The data is ranked from low to high, and the current customer rate of an equivalent service is $97.50 in Santa Ana, and that does not include the disposal cost. This is just an example for a multi-family residential service. Multi-family use bins, and the rates for those for Republic Services is $562.31, for CR&R $575.62, Athens 597.21. Waste management, 630.69. The data is ranked from low to high. The equivalent service rate for fiscal year 21-22 is $448.64. The level of service includes the following: 3-yard refuse bin twice per week, 3-yard recycling bin once per week, and 1 organic card once per week. So, and that's for a typical multi-family residential service. Any questions? Yeah. Commercial bin service. For Republic services, $424.92. For Athens services, $449.88. Waste management, $454.79. CR&R, $459.98. The data is ranked from low to high, and equivalent service right now in Santa Ana is $388.19. The level of service, and that's a bin, is 3-yard refuse bin once a week, 3-yard recycling bin once a week, and 2-yard organic bin once a week. That's for commercial. Okay. Roll-off box, rate comparison site. CR&R, I'm going to read the total. The CR&R is 496.62. Waste management, 552. Athens services, 574. For Republic services, 667.88. The data is ranked from low to high. The current rate for that service is $584.31, and that's a roll-off for refuse. Next. 3 cubic yard temporary bin. That's when you had a project at home and you wanted to, like you're remodeling something.
Yeah.
You would call and you'll have one of those things come to you, and the rates for those is $95 for Athens, waste management $125, SCR $175, the public services also $175. The data is ranked from low to high. The current service is for this type of bin is $145.21. Mixed construction and demolition up to 10 to 8 tons. Now, CR&R is $594.74. Waste management 602. The public services 670.29. Athens services 679.62. Data is ranked from low to high, and this is for any size up to 8 tons. Existing customer right now pay $635.18. Now, anything above 8 tons, these are the rates. Waste management is $63.50, CR&R $82.08, Athens services $95, the public services is $104.73. The data is ranked from low to high, and the current rate is $64.28. Okay. Now, construction and demolition service. Construction and demolition service, we call it C&D service, are included in the proposed exclusive solid waste agreement. Our current C&D agreement expires on June 30, 2022, the same time as the current solid waste agreement. The city does not believe that there are continuation rights for the current C&D providers. Should continuation right exist, current C&D providers may provide concurrent service for up to 5 years as required by Public Resources Code section 49520. Any questions on that?
Would you kindly explain that the last?
This one?
Yeah.
Right now, we have a contractor, or maybe a couple of them, that do construction and demolition waste collection in Santa Ana. And when the new contract, separate from, just to continue, separate from the vendor or the trash hauler that does the residential, the commercial collection. There's two different ones. Okay? When we execute this new agreement, we won't have to. We will only have one that does both. But because of the law and how it's written and the agreements, this new contractor will have construction and demolition collection privileges. The current ones may have also the same privileges concurrently for up to 5 years when we write the new agreement. So it does affect construction and demolition type services. Did I explain it right? Yes. So this is kind of a statement that says that we may have two different operators for construction and demolition type waste in the city for up to 5 years after we execute this new agreement. The billing, the city will continue to bill for the bi-monthly residential curbside service. The city does its billing on a bi-monthly basis 6 times a year. So the rates that you were seeing will be double because it's bi-monthly. When I was explaining the rates, it was monthly, but when you get the bill, it will be for 2 months. If it's $20, you will see a bill for $40. The contractor will do the other types of billing, like they will be billing monthly for commercial, multifamily, industrial carton, roll-off boxes, temporary services, C&D services, everything else other than residential will be done by the contractor and will be done on a monthly basis. Talk about revenue. We made estimates on how much revenue the haulers will bring in the first year of operation. Athens is $57 million. Republic Services, $59 million. CRMR, $59 million. And Waste Management, also $59 million. Plus or minus, these numbers are very close, which means to us that our negotiation and what the proposals gave us and the waste hauler gave us a really good deal, and the numbers are very close. And I made it a point at the city council to let them know that all 4 haulers are reputable. They are qualified to provide the city service that we're looking for. So, and these numbers look good for us because they are very close to each other. The margin is within 2 to 4%, which is unbelievable. We did ask about equipment and equipment specifications, and the haulers responded back. To your question, Carl, all of the equipment coming in will be new, 2022 or so model year, and they will all be CNG or renewable CNG. The carts will all be new. The bins will all be new, except for waste management will continue to use the existing bins. So that's good news for all of us. On the reference check, and that was done by our consultant, Athens scored 4.1, CRMR scored 3.8, Waste Management scored 3.6, and Republic Services scored 2.9. And the data is ranked from high to low. Now, through the RFP process, the waste haulers were generous enough to add to the features that we were asking for. If you remember, we asked for the basic RFP elements that we needed, but the haulers came in and said, we're going to give you more. Okay? And alphabetically, I'm going to go through what they offer. Okay? So Athens Services offered 10 free bulky items pickup per quarter per dwelling unit for the multi-family residential, and $48 per item for items exceeding 10 per quarter, which means 10 per quarter. That's 40 large pickup, which says 40 mattresses in 1 year that you can, anything above that in a quarter, they will charge you $48 per item. They also offered a free illegal dumping pickup to the current level with $125 an hour for volumes above the current level of illegal dumping. With the offer, the education and outreach recycling program for Santa Ana businesses. They call it Healthy Environmental with Athens Services Training part. They also offered to procure compost on behalf of the city to meet recovered organic waste products procurement requirements. They also offered that displaced employees will receive equal or higher wages, a potential sign-on bonus, and additional bonus after 12 months. They also offered the 6 environmental managers to oversee trash hauling and clean city initiative programs. And they also offered all clean city initiatives be performed in-house. Next is CR&R Environmental Services. They offered the following: provide 3 full-time recycling coordinators, part-time internship for Santa Ana students, a minimum of 1 year tour per month of CR&R anaerobic digestion facility, including lunch, and if requested, a guest lecturer. They also offered a lightweight RNG powered collection vehicle and RFID residential park tag, which means they'll be able to track the trash cans wherever they go. They also offer to provide 2 trucks and a crew dedicated to the collection of illegally dumped items, 80 hours per week total. 4 bulky item pickups per year per multi-family unit, up to 4 items per pickup, arranged by the property manager, and will have an option to on-call scheduling, dedicated collection days, or move out coordination. They would be offered to partner with a third party to support community organization, offer to provide street sweeping when current contract expires in 2024 at 2.25% increase in rates. Qualified employees will be provided with offer letters for employment. In addition, Clean City Initiative services will be in cooperation with the Goodwill Industries. For Republic Services, they offer the following: 3 full-time recycling coordinators, $200,000 per year to select community events, representative to join the Kiwanis, Santa Ana Chamber of Commerce, OC Human Relations Commission. They will provide a donation of $10,000 per year to support city events. They will work with Illumination Foundation to provide 150 new lockable carts for Santa Ana residents experiencing homelessness to secure storage and belongings. They also offer the school tutoring support for each high school through the Henry Nicholas academic centers. They offer to collect illegally dumped items within 24 to 48 hours. The driver will report illegally dumped items, procure compost and RNG to assist city in meeting compliance requirement, 10 free bulky items pick up per quarter per dwelling unit for multi-family residents, work with city to prepare a viable plan for acquiring and integrating displaced qualified workers. They also offer the Clean City Initiative services to be performed by Republic and also a subcontractor. They also offer the third-party diversion tracking through the use of the cyclist data management tool. And also finally, they offer to pilot the electric refuse vehicle. Waste management offer the following: 2 full-time recycling coordinators, 3 third-party diversion tracking through the use of recycled data management tool, will collect illegally dumped items within 48 hours of notification, service by request, unlimited bulky item pickup to multi-family properties through on-call scheduling or designated collection days, service by request, will utilize the same truck used for servicing illegal dumping. They will also procure renewable natural gas on behalf of the city. They will also use the RFID-equipped carts and will continue to use the old bins, and Clean City initiative will be performed by a subcontractor. Any questions? Go ahead.
Illumination Foundation.
Yes. I believe that program is to whoever asks for, they would provide a locker for the homeless to put their belongings in and lock it. And I believe the locker is movable, correct?
Yeah, it's gonna be similar to a residential cart or lock on it. if I'm not mistaken.
It's a part, it's a lock on it, it's just stuff that keeps it moving. 150 bucks. And those will be in conjunction with the Illumination Foundation that manages or help the city, or used to help the city in the efforts of the homelessness. Good question. Now, based on City Council request and the mayor, we had an ad hoc committee formed to study the proposals and answer questions that members of the council have on all of the details of the RFP and such. So we met, I believe, 5 times, and we had back and forth conversation with the haulers on questions that members of the ad hoc committee had. Those questions were answered, and briefly we'll go over some of those. This is a summation of the questions that were asked by the ad hoc committee. They requested additional wage and employment information, which was provided, which will be provided in the next slide. And they also asked questions about the facilities and listing of those subjects, the listing of those facilities that are subject to code enforcement. That question was responded to. They also inquired on the use of GPS and collection vehicles. Those questions were also answered. They also asked questions about capital equipment purchase location for tax purchases. That was also addressed. They asked questions about description of the proposal's green practices, description of the proposal emergency preparedness, listing of legal issues that house had, also a listing of campaign or other contribution to city officials. That was responded to and answered. Provide a rate. We asked them to provide a rate for residential or neighborhood, the trash container collection that came in. And also we requested, the ad hoc committee requested information regarding vehicle fire and accident, and that was responded to. So, and the first part of the ad hoc committee question was about wage and employment, and I wanted to provide a summary on that. So as far as wage and employment, we have it listed by category: average, hourly rate. We have Athens, CR1, Republic, and Waste Management. The wage, hourly wage, average hourly wage ranged from 25.18 to 26.91. The average wage, payroll, taxes, and employee benefits ranged from 3573 to 38.01. We asked a question about employee representation by collective bargaining agreement. Athens is not, CR not is, the public services is, waste management is. We also asked about the tenure of the drivers. The range was between 10 years to 23.4 years, lowest for Athens, highest for waste management. We also asked about if they would provide a preferential employment opportunities to qualified citizens and residents, and the answer was yes for all of them. Any questions on that?
Thank you.
Yes. Go ahead.
What happens to the collective bargaining agreement if you change contract? I mean, we have to negotiate bargaining.
The current, the way I understand it, I'm not an expert in collective bargaining. So what I know is if there is a change between laws, then if 50% of those employees that are hired by the new with different law will have the right for representation, correct? So if it's less than 50%, then they don't need to. But if it's above 50%, then the new law will be obligated to allow for representation of the company. Did I answer the question?
That's pretty much it. But you got to negotiate contract.
They have to negotiate it. Absolutely. Okay. Little back. Okay. This is the exciting part, at least for me. This is the Clean City Initiative, right? So staff worked really hard on it. City council members, mayor pro tem, all the council members asked us to provide them with a clean city initiative. And we worked really hard on looking what Santa Ana needs, right? So we know what the city needs. And so we thought really hard on coming up with the programs that would help our city. And again, let's see. It was requested by the mayor pro tem, and council members. It was elected and guided by city manager and the executive management team. It was supported by all proposers, provided comprehensive right-of-way cleaning. It is to provide comprehensive right-of-way cleaning. It was developed by city staff and it was refined by HF and HR consultants. The initiative itself targets heavily traveled locations in the city, industrial business districts, and hotspots. The service location can be and will be based on city right-of-way cleaning needs. Most of the services will be provided on a 6-day-per-week service. All proposals responded and will be able to provide that service. The service will be phased over 24 months, a couple of years. So, what are these services? Let's talk about them. We asked for site-specific litter cleaning and bulky item removal, proactive, not on and on call, as indicated by the area supervisor, the drivers of the city, which means basically what I'm expecting that on a daily basis, 6 days a week, the hauler or the vendor will be driving the city looking for litter and bulky items to pick up. So it's ongoing. I expect that you will be seeing that equipment in the city doing just that. Okay? We also asked for a right-of-way trash container service and cleaning. 250 of these trash containers. You may have seen those containers. They look like, it looks like a trash container, but it's weighted with sand on the bottom of it to sit on the sidewalk. So we will have 50 of those independent of the bus shuttles and bus stops. So we have them at key locations where we see people travel and walk, and there's a lot of trash. And so we will have them in certain areas of the city. So and they will be picked up on a daily basis. That's the goal. We also asked the hauler to provide or to work with the city and the user of My Santa Ana app. So right now, if someone wants to report a bulky item, it goes to the city and the city does the pickup. Now we expect that the hauler will be also getting that notification to pick up the item when it's reported to the city. City will continue to provide that service, but also that notification will go directly to the hauler to help us pick those up as they are reported through the app. We also asked for a sidewalk litter and debris cleaning service. We expect that service to be, again, 6 days a week to clean the sidewalk. And I'm envisioning about 30 miles a week of cleaning of sidewalks. In the same time, we also asked for a sidewalk power washing, 15 miles a week of power washing of sidewalks. So we have a staff that knows where the hotspot is and the level of service in certain areas in the city that we will be moving around that service, the pressure washing, the cleaning of the sidewalks on as needed basis. So there will be a dynamic. It is for 10 years period, the contract itself. So a hotspot here today may become okay, and the hotspot will move somewhere else. So we have the ability to adjust where the service is. We also asked for a porter service that is similar to what you see in on the beach cities, where someone is walking around cleaning and picking up trash, and, wiping down maybe street lights and bollards and things of that nature. So we have that coming. We also asked for the washing and sanitization of all bins. Now, those are the commercial bins. They're once per week for free for the customers. And also we asked for a clean city initiative, which basically is a program to reach out to businesses to help them keep their businesses, strip malls clean and such. So we wanted to be a little bit more proactive in assisting the businesses and such. Again, because we talked about the Clean City initiatives, these are the costs for the Clean City initiative. We've talked about that before, but for example, Athens, the first year is 4%, 4.14%. The second year is 0.99%. For CRMR is 2.05. For the first year, second year with 2.05. Second year for the public, it's 1%. 2.25 and 2.25 in years 2 and 3, and then risk management is 2%, followed by a 4.2%. And that's the cost of the Clean City initiatives. Next step. Of the rates, right? All the rates, everything will be increased by the Clean City Initiative percentages, but also the CPI, the Consumer Price Index. Next step is on June 23rd, from June 23rd to August 16th, we're doing this outreach. We're reaching out to the electeds to answer any questions, and we're reaching out to the community. So far, we have, I believe, 4 meetings. And we continue to have additional 4 meetings coming up. And by that time, I will remember this thing by heart. So on July 2021, we're done with that. We adopted the resolution with intent. Next major step for us is August 17, 21. We plan to hold a public hearing and adopt a resolution to grant a solid waste franchise agreement to one of the 4 proposals, and we would ask City Council to authorize us to pursue what we call a Proposition 218, a process to adopt the rates that the selected hall will have for the first year. And now I'm open for questions. I hope I have answers. Go ahead.
We have a little breaking action here. I'd like to introduce my board members up here. We have a lot of new people in the audience. my Vice President, Carl Benninger, and what neighborhood are you from? And then I have my secretary here, Evangeline Wronski. And I have Terry McCall. And over here I have George Collins. Leon Jacobs in the back over there. And inconspicuously over here is Irma Maciel. Again, I want to recognize this in a couple minutes here. We have one of our council members in the back and have her come up here and just introduce herself and just a couple short words. And then I want to bring up the haulers that are out here and answer your questions. And you can direct your questions to the haulers. I'll give them a little chance to say what was left out of this program and what they can offer that was left out of the meals presentation.
Thanks, Peter. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here tonight. My name is Tanya Fan. I represent Ward 1, mostly on the west side. I'm just very excited to be here as one of 3 members on the trash ad hoc. So all of the extra questions, all of the extra stress that all of the haulers went under, that's because of us. And we're very excited to ask these questions and demanded more. You know, I grew up here in Santa Ana, and so picking up trash everywhere, right? That's just something that we had a lot of issues with. And I'm looking forward to not just having our trash picked up, but making sure our city is clean and beautiful, healthy and safe for our children, for our residents, and that we live up to being the golden city here in Orange County. So if you have any questions for me, I'm in the back. I can answer kind of whatever, you know, our process was in the ad hoc and things like that, what we've talked about at council. And I look forward to you grilling all of these trash haulers and making sure they answer all of your questions.
Thank you. Now I'm going to bring up the haulers up here in no particular order. I want Waste Management, Republic, as Athens here, whoever you want coming up here. Just say a few words of why you think your company is best, and then we're going to open it up for all you guys out here and pump them with the questions.
Sure, I'll get started. Good evening, everybody. My name is Tanya Castaneda, Municipal Manager with Republic Services. Wow, amazing community in Santa Ana. I feel right at home. You guys have welcomed us with open arms, so thank you so much for being here tonight to hear what we have to offer to you. You may want to put a timer on this thing too, Peter, because you know, keep it to a minute because I can talk a storm. But what a privilege it is to be a part of this process, to bid for this incredible city. We're so hungry for the work. We're so excited. I think what we're able to do for the city of Santa Ana is really lead the environmental initiative. We're offering the city the first electric trash vehicle for research and development program. I know that's a round of applause. That's going to be the first in the state of California. We're offering an incredible work hire initiative to really recruit talent within the city, to hire residents to come on board, work for a company like us, get great benefits. Our drivers get 12 uniforms. We wash our uniforms for our driver, amazing benefits. And I'll wrap it up here. You can't put a price on a life. And I want to say our company is 39% better industry average, according to OSHA total reportable incident rates. 39% better than the industry. So we have an incredible safety program. When we're out there in the field, we take every precaution we can to provide excellent service and safe service. So with that, I'll leave my cards. If anybody has any other questions or comments, I'm here to answer anything for you tonight. Thank you.
Next, in no particular order, since the gentleman is standing right up here, introduce yourself and tell us about your company.
Newport Lowling with Athens Services. Just a little history on Athens. We're a 60-year-old family-owned company. You know, we really care about our workers. We're really excited for this opportunity. One thing I did want to address when you mentioned the CPA is, as part of our agreement, we've offered to hire all waste management drivers with seamless employment. We've also offered to give them $10,000 signing bonus. And in relation to the CPA is over 50%. They have the option of union. We also offer a labor peace agreement. We will be completely neutral. We support the employees' right to vote and will continue to support those employees. I think additionally, we did add environmental managers for each of the wards to make sure we coordinate all these services. And, you know, we do pressure washing in-house and we're your current street sweeping provider. So we'll continue to do that. We look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Next, Mike Silva. I think I've known you all my life, Mike.
I know, we go way back.
Good evening. Yeah, I know now. So I'm from Florida Park, first thing, and I'm a civil engineer. And my company's COR. We're local. We're based in Stanton. Been here for literally 60 years. I actually worked for the family. I started with them as an intern when I was 21 years old in undergraduate school. I'd say the thing that distinguishes us, Nabil's spot on. Everybody's prices are within 2 or 3%. I think there's about 3 things that only my company does literally. We have an anaerobic digestion plant in Paris, California, and we convert all the organics on your curb into renewable natural gas. And we put it in the pipeline, and it's literally the only facility in California that does that. The second facility is we have an EMSW facility. All the residual, we take that and we convert it into a coal substitute, and we sell it to the cement kilns in the high desert, and replace coal with that. Literally the only facility of its kind in California. Those 2. I know those personally because I built those as an engineer. I have a great team that does that. And so without all of that said and done, our carbon footprint is probably 5 to 6 times less than anybody else. But we're kind of crazy about the environmental, and that's how we've been our whole lives. So anyways, I'm local. Pete's got my address. I live right around the corner, walking distance. And I saved the pizza guy today. He was lost like me. So I walked the pizza man over here. So Republic owes me big time. The pizza was on the curb. Thank you for the time.
Here we have Raul Bueno from Waste Management. Both of you guys want to come up here, or which one wants to do the talking?
As Peter said, I'm total led on the district operations manager for the District of Santa Ana, and was part of the role that they kind of talked about the drivers. They've actually got on the talk to city council, but if you really want to see how happy our drivers are, I invite you to go out and see them tomorrow when they go by a house and pick up your services fast. The other thing that I wanted to highlight is we do have a program out there called the Waste Watch. You will hear a lot about it, but our drivers are trained on identifying things that are on the route. And then we talk to the city, and that's all part of keeping our community safe.
Hi, I'm Ashley Brunet. I work with Joel Bordeaux right here for Waste Management, Santa Ana. It's been about 3 years now for me, and it's been amazing. It's, you know, we are local and big guys here right here in Santa Ana. As Joel mentioned, in testimony to our work is see the tenure. Our company, Joel's been working for 34 years. Our average tenure for our drivers is almost 24 years. So very, very happy to work for Waste Management. We have a lot of sustainability goals. We have created sustainability forum, which I recommend everyone check out. It's sustainability.wm.com. We produce a sustainability report. We purchase renewable natural gas for carbon neutral fleets as well. You know, we have many benefits as well as the unlimited mobility program. That is one of our biggest advantages to our contract. We see, you know, we currently service the city of Santa Ana, and we see some of the challenges that residents are talking about as a legally done. So our goal is 100%. You know, no charge on the production. It's to reduce. I apologize, I'm not sure about that. By providing that service, our goal is to help the city. We choose to support the Clean City Initiative. We always stand there. We want to make sure this is clean, but we want to make sure we minimize economical for residents. But again, if you have any questions, we'll leave it up here. We'll be brainstorm.
Let me ask up to you. All in your favor, it's really cute. Our youngest one grandchildren are 2 years old. Right now, they're 7 and 9. This is a couple of years ago, they're a little bit smaller. And there's another one, just another one, I'm supposed to stress. The name is Suma. Well, pretty soon the truck driver started to look for the wall. And when they did, they would bring throwing books and prints for them and things for them to do. So every week they had something special for them to do. So it was really cute. But of course, now they're older, now they're 7 and 9. So they put it in the school for a few years. And now the poor trash truck, the kids are not there anymore.
drivers to do some of that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. A little known secret, I like to mention our data, we do bring the trash truck to bring to your house, so if you can, like, Joel has countless times, but the trash truck that lets people come outside, you can sure it's a little fact right there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. We have 15 minutes here. Now's your chance. If you can, corner these guys to ask the question of any of these companies, what hasn't been answered here today? Because this contract affects each and every one of you, whether you own a house or whether you rent an apartment, whether you eat in a restaurant, shop in a grocery store. If the trash cost goes up, prices go up. So this is something that affects everybody that lives, works, and plays in Santa Ana. So it's a very important contract, and will be coming up before the city council in August. So what I suggest, if you have a preference and you want more information, each one of you or in a board, and get a hold of your 7 council members. They're the ones who are going to make the decision. Those 7 votes will decide this contract.
I have a question. Anybody that's got the council members and every resident here, it's like for the last probably 15 years, we've talked about locking trash cans because there are a collection. There's a parade every trash day of people going down the street with the shopping carts, cleaning out the recyclable carts. So if we're going to meet some sort of recycling goals and guidelines, and we have an open park for people to come and pick the beer cans and beer bottles and whatever out of there, it's going to make it difficult for the council to reach that goal. So those recycling parks we talked about, eventually you go back to what? 2000, 2005, even.
Yeah.
There is a parade. Anybody here that has a home or even that is alive can tell you that on trash day, there's just a line of people that come through the neighborhood and clean out the great parks.
And what that leads to is those people are the ones that are breaking into cars and breaking into homes. So
That's a whole different argument. The point is that if we're going to add great parks, they should be the parks that unlock when they get done to the trash.
I agree.
That will eliminate the pilfering of recyclable items, and which causes our rates to be high.
I'd like to.
Jump into any one of your companies, jump in here and answer these questions. We have 20 minutes.
I would like to say something. So my name is Christine Hendrick, I'm product manager or enterprise manager for solid waste. So really, there's not a great answer. So the locking carts they are gravity locks. So when you pick them up and you turn them over, that's when they open up. So what happens is if somebody wants to get into your recycling container, they're going to pick up your container instead of rifling through it. They're going to turn it over and empty all of it onto your parkway. So that is not a good answer.
So
So
seed blocks aren't just gravity. They can all tell you, there's blocks that are actually activated when they do something. So they're not just gravity.
They are
blocks.
very significantly
That's a cop out.
no, it's not.
There are blocks, or they're not blocks.
It would be very expensive. Very expensive.
Is it cheaper to give away all the recyclables, or is it cheaper to put blocks on our trash can one time?
Well, the good thing about this contract is the city does not take any risk or reward on value of recyclables, which is a great thing because recyclable markets have largely disappeared.
But then that line of meeting recyclables is food.
No.
So you're not either make us feel about meeting recyclable goals. So you can't have it 2 ways. You can't say, recyclables is no big deal, but we're gonna meet recyclable goals, but nobody cares about recyclables anymore.
We're not saying that.
So why don't we just don't make all our trash?
Because
The
that is,
recyclables don't matter, just don't make all the trash.
so what you need to understand is legislation is not allowing that in the future at all. They're just not allowing it. That's a state thing. That's not a city thing. Unfortunately, a lot of these occur as we're implementing because the state is mandating us to. So we're kind of in the middle, and the last thing we want to do is control or damage our residents or our businesses by putting so much responsibility on it, that there are certain areas that we have to manage. So we're doing the best that we can, be as flexible as we can, and to provide as many services as we can. It's a difficult line to walk, but I want you to know that we're working really hard to do that.
When the building stopped that program, for the condition wage, because of the cost, it was $45 and each person had to pay to have locks on.
Because they didn't buy it for it anywhere neighborhood.
Right?
They didn't buy it for it anywhere neighborhood.
Yeah, right, so it's just very, but in order to be able to block to do it,
But you have other companies here, I know Republic serves 14 cities, so they face the same problems throughout the county, so this is not something new, every company faces these problems. George?
I have a little bit of a technical question. It's a 30-year problem that everybody in Santa Ana has watched. And I would like to know which of you can work with the city or resolve this problem. The problem is we'll have a holiday. Trash pickup will be daily, and it will probably be on the street sweeping day where the street sweepers can't sweep the curbs because all the trash cans are out. Is there any way to coordinate when the city has a holiday and the trash cans are going to be out, say, South Coast Metro, and on a Wednesday, and the street sweepers coming through, and all we can do is go down the middle of the street? Who can coordinate with the city? So we're paying for a street sweeping service, we would actually like to have it where it goes up against the curb, and if the curb is not being avoided because all the trash cans are out. How can that be resolved? The floor is yours. Is the question clear?
Yeah, the question is very clear. As a current street sweeping provider and one of the advantages is we can do both, we can coordinate, but I do have to mention that one of the challenges is there's marked streets. So say, street sweeping, no parking on Wednesday or Thursday, that's the coincide with street sweeping. So we can work to coordinate unmarked neighborhoods, but it is a signage issue and we need to make sure the cars aren't parked on the side to be able to do that. So we're happy to work with you wherever we can and adjust the routing, but it's something we can do, but some of the limitations as well.
And we need a dedicated company in the city that can clean up the graffiti in the city, not give us lip service. I mean, this entire city is graffitied over, and this is the responsibility of these companies. That's their job.
I do have a follow-up question. There was a question about which council members or staff has received gifts or tickets or whatever from the members. I think that should be public information prior to a vote. Would you agree?
That's the answer.
But the 7 members of the city council are the one that's going to decide this contract in August. And so if you still have questions and you still want to influence their vote, you need to call them up and talk to them because now's your opportunity. And you have one in the back of the room here, but there's 6 others, so they're the ones that can decide this contract. So if there's more questions, these guys will stick around and answer your questions. There's food in the back, Irving. Anybody? Thank you.
I just want to emphasize that we really like the neighborhood association, really like the dumpster program. I'm really trying to need to make sure that the general company doesn't reject or the city council pay. That is one of the key programs that has been cleaning the neighborhood. And also, I think that I like to add on, we have a lot of problems. People really don't know who to call for picking up mattresses, and I see them every week, so we might have that added on to the clean initiative that we make it more aware to the community. And this is a very program for the community. I think it's
We will definitely do that. But also, just recently we had we did have a mailing on who to call. It was the refrigerator magnet that had the phone number on it, or who to call. The unfortunate thing is, like I mentioned earlier, that program is available for free for the residential customers, right? Yes. But for multi-families, but we did, and we will provide you with that phone number to call. Absolutely. Sure.
Nabil, this is Ruby from Artesia Pilar, and we'll have those materials at that community meeting on Saturday morning. So we'll have magnets for anyone that.
We have it in a magnet that you can put, and we got criticized for the magnet.
And also, before we start this program, before we start any new contract, we will do a huge public education campaign. We'll come out to the community association, Comlink, all of these networks, do that again. We will most likely have starter kit attached to your in charge of them to receive them, there will be mailings, there will be website information, there'll be a whole bunch of stuff so that when we start the new program, you know exactly how to participate.
In fact, I remember doing a Facebook posting on bulky item pickups.
Right.
Is that correct, Michelle? Do we have a Facebook posting on bulky item pickup?
We did.
We did. So, we're trying to do the right thing. It's very difficult to reach out to the community in Santa Ana here. It's easier in some areas, but with locations in Santa Ana, it's really difficult to bring people in and do the outreach. We're doing the best we can, and we'll continue with this program, with this new contract. We definitely will be out there. We're out there right now, but we will reach out.
Here's about alleys, since I'm living on an alley, and the work of the things we have to do. We want to touch and all kinds of things.
Well, the alley program will start from day one. Like I mentioned, right now we have a two-day, 2 weeks a month for alley cleanup. We have about I want to say 40 to 60 miles of alleys that we have to take care of. So we alternate. The waste hauler right now, waste management, does all of our alleys in 1 week. Our crew in public works does the next week. Then waste management comes in, does the week after that. So we are rotating. It's a really difficult situation because you will notice that illegal dumping is very close to multi-family residential units because they have no way of disposing of the bulky items. I'm hoping that on day one we'll get better of the new contract, and as things go, as those enhanced services kick in, we'll do a much better job. With the help of the hall.
It's worked very well in Los Angeles. They started that program last month. It was amazing how much stuff they've already picked up for free.
That was my idea.
You guys are already-
I just want to emphasize,
Here, big hat on the back.
we have sheets back there that have others to fall. It's a thing.
Yeah.
So one's public works, one is overall, please pick them up right here on the table, the big numbers call.
And before we adjourn, I just want to say a couple of things here exciting about the city. If you haven't gone out there, Carl and I have been out to 3 of them already. There's 14 movies in the park all summer long for the kids. And the crowds have been $500 at some of these parks, and it's a wonderful success. And for Christmas, the city manager, if you remember what the Civic Center Plaza of the Flags looked like, it looked like Haiti a few years ago. And for Christmas, we're gonna turn it into ice skating rink and put a Christmas tree out there, and play some Christmas music.
Peter, there's 2 questions on Zoom.
On Zoom?
Yeah,
Okay,
there's
go ahead.
George, can you repeat?
Okay, the first question is stated as, if a hauler is awarded other than waste management, will be based out of Santa Ana and take over the current yard? The second question being, if Republic, the only provider is a zero emissions vehicle.
That's correct.
The response to the first question is no. We will not support this being part of this.
They will not take over the city yard, whatever contractor is like a city property, I guess it remains its property of the city.
Let me answer that.
And she, you want to respond to somebody?
I'll let her go.
Sure, I think it's good after reading the questions directed at the public services in our vehicles, is that correct?
Yes.
The carbon emissions, so what I think the question was, if you wouldn't mind repeating the question, just so I'm
Repeat
sure.
the question, please.
Yeah, repeat the question one more time, please. I want to make sure I answered correctly.
Okay, actually, there's an additional question, but is Republic the only provider with a zero emissions vehicle? That's the question you're looking at.
Yeah, so I won't speak about the other haulers, but I'll go ahead and elaborate on our fleet, just to take a minute or less. Currently, all of our fleet runs 100% on RNG energy. Currently have a partnership with Clean Energy, an energy producer. And by the time of the start of the Santa Ana agreement, our fleet will be zero carbon through our partnership with Clean Energy. And we're also the only one offering a research and development initiative with the state's first electric refuse vehicle. So that's what we're proposing, to have a clean, completely clean energy fleet. Thank you.
I want to thank all the companies that showed up tonight, stayed so late, long, and answered your questions. And if you have more, get a hold of them to my Santa Ana. Our next meeting will be right here, August 26th, God willing, and if the governor doesn't lock the state down again, so but we'll see you all back here. Ross, Carl, you have something?
I just want to announce that for those on the movies, you have a flyer back of what park and what things are coming up. My only disappointment was the invasion of light statues in 1956. But these are very good pieces.
But this is your organization, you make it what it is, and we represent also supported neighborhoods in the city, and we're here to serve you, and so is the city council, so they get paid, you know. Thank you, everybody, for coming out.